Welcome back, dear listeners. Here we are with another story. So let's begin. I am a man who has been married to my wife for 32 years. I told her I loved her 5 days after I met her. She was also my first sexual experience. I was 23 and she was 18. We both said it was a love at first sight thing, and I'll still agree to that today. But now it's 32 years later. We have 2 grown daughters, one who has given us 2 grandchildren and another who married and left her husband a little over a year into their marriage. I am like others I've read here. I am no longer in love with my wife, although I do care for her a lot. I have never cheated on her, but I picture myself in a single life situation with the ability to date all the time. I will say that 2 years ago I did meet a woman I work with and we hit it off immediately. We have traveled together with our job and even spent a week together in Wyoming, although nothing happened. To this day, we talk on a daily basis, sometimes for hours. She knows about my family, and I know and have met her family. She has 2 teenage boys and a teenage girl, and I do believe they like me. I have been to her house on several occasions just to talk or watch a movie, and I have even had a few meals with her. I guess my point is that what I have with her is what I had with my wife when we met, but in my eyes, we aren't even close to having any more. There is a 20-year age difference between my friend and me, but it doesn't seem to bother either of us. We have told each other that we are each other's best friends and that we love each other and could never see that changing. My wife is aware of her existence since we do work together occasionally. We would sometimes be on the phone together when my family was all in the house, but not on purpose, that's just the way it worked out. My wife finally confronted me about it, saying it bothered her and that I seemed happier talking with my friend than I did with her, which is pretty much accurate. At the end of the day, I can't see myself spending the rest of my life with my wife or without her. And more, I see my life with my female friend and her family. There is nothing set in stone, and we have never talked about that aspect because I am married. But I think if I were to divorce my wife, it could happen. I believe the one thing that has stopped me from leaving is the turmoil it would create with my children and grandchildren, but I have to do something for myself, not anybody else. This thought process consumes my life daily. I'm tired of being smothered by my wife trying to prove she loves me, and if I don't do something about it soon, I will lose the opportunity to live the rest of my days in happiness. If it seems like I've rambled on, I'm sorry. It's the frustration of what I am facing. Ready to go, dear, ready to go. Thank you for reaching out and asking these important questions. I appreciate how hard it is to ask for help, and I'm really glad you did. I am going to share my thoughts on your situation as candidly as possible. You say, I've never cheated on my wife, and I would venture that you are talking about never having had sexual contact outside of your marriage. However, there is another side to infidelity that many people are unaware of or fail to acknowledge: the emotional affair. An emotional affair is when a married or committed partner turns to an individual outside of the partnership to fulfill emotional needs. The situation you are describing with your coworker sounds like an emotional affair, especially because it appears that your wife is not aware of the type and amount of contact you have had with this woman. While affairs may progress in any number of ways, they don't generally just happen. Affairs happen through a series of small compromises: sharing secrets with someone other than your partner, doing things with someone that more often than not should be reserved for your partner, such as going to the movies or having nice meals out, and hiding behavior. Eventually, many people find themselves in an all-out affair. While I'm not suggesting that you are having an affair, you are certainly on a slippery slope, and it is apparent that this friendship is taking a toll on your marriage. Even if nothing has happened yet, there is a very real possibility that things could change very quickly. There are a few significant things that make a relationship with someone outside of a partner so enticing. For one, it's new. As anyone who has ever purchased a new car can attest, the newness of the car is exciting. You can't wait to show it off and tell everyone about it, and you burst with excitement every time you drive it. After a while, however, the newness wears off and you get accustomed to it. Then, you become more aware of its quirks and maintenance costs. At this point, some people will trade in for a newer car to try to recapture that feeling. In marriage, the concept is the same. When you met your wife, it was new and exciting. Now, after 32 years, 2 children, 2 grandchildren, and a life together, the newness is gone. The excitement has worn off, and you know this woman like you know yourself. I suspect that is part of what makes the relationship with this other woman so exciting. It's new. There are new things to learn, explore, and share, and while with your wife, you may be feeling like you've been there and done that. Starting a new relationship after a long marriage can be exciting, but I must caution you that the friendship you describe is steeped in fantasy. Almost every new relationship is. At this point, your life with your wife is full of responsibility and with the daily tasks of living, the bills, kids, grandkids, work, college tuition, and household chores. The relationship with the other woman doesn't have any of those components now, but should you choose to end your marriage and start a life with her, those elements will be present, along with the added challenge of blending families. Before you make any big decision, it's important to step back and look at this from a realistic perspective, beyond the fantasy and romantic idealization. Finally, you state that you want to be happy and that you're concerned that you will lose the opportunity to live your days in happiness. From my perspective, happiness is an internal condition. Viktor Frankl reminds us that the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. You are making your happiness contingent on what happens in your life and your relationships, when your focus really ought to be on how to find fulfillment, happiness, and joy in your life on your own. If there is one thing that is constant in life, it is that nothing stays the same. Therefore, the highest task of living, in my opinion, is learning how to surf the waters of life and maintaining an inner sense of peace, joy, and happiness, no matter what is happening. You do not have an easy choice to make in this situation, and I would encourage you to seek out someone to talk with you about this. A good therapist can help you navigate the waters and become aware of things you may not presently see. So that's it for today. I hope you liked the video and please make sure to subscribe the channel for more videos.